Oh my God. I cannot believe that I'm finally sitting here doing this damn thing because I can't even begin to tell you how long I've been talking about doing a podcast. It was like a mosquito that lived in my head, and it was just like you couldn't swat it away, but I finally had to figure out how to do it. And really, it just came down to the fact that I was doubting myself so hard. And so many of y'all have followed me. I mean, what, like 10, 12, some of y'all like probably close to 15 years, I would imagine at this point. So like you've seen me grow up and you've seen me go through so many iterations of myself, which is very cool. But you've seen, I would say, smaller versions of that, particularly within the past like 5-6 years, ever since I stopped doing my last podcast, True Sex and Wild Love. I was very, very open back then. And then I kind of clammed up because I got scared and I got silent and I got shy. And I really just started doubting myself in this type of platform. And so now we're back, baby. Okay. We're coming back with a vengeance. She's coming in hot. My new podcast that we're doing right here, right now, finally, is called Pretty Messy Human. And it's just an accumulation of who I am as an individual. And I feel like who all of us are as individuals, we're all pretty messy humans. We're all just like trying to figure this out. And no one, by the way, has it figured out. And so if someone's telling you they have it all figured out, just run for the hills because that's a red flag. It's a lie. They don't. One of the reasons why I think so many of us prevent ourselves from doing the thing that we want to do for so long is self-doubt. And I was thinking about this the other day in my car when I was going to do this podcast. And I realized that self-doubt isn't a red flag. In fact, it's something that I feel like is necessary when you're pushing the boundaries of what you always wanted to do or something that's going to actually change your life. It's that one thing that's like, okay, you are on the right direction here. So what's important about that is you just expect self-doubt to come up. When you do something like this podcast, for example, you're going to do it and you're going to think automatically, oh my God, I look so stupid. I don't sound good. Maybe the lighting is weird. Like, why did I wear that dumb shirt or say that thing? It's normal for all of us to feel that way. And so stop overthinking it because that is the point that most people quit. And if you can just expect that and move through it, then you're already ahead of like 90% of the people and you're going to change your life just by doing that one thing. So Pretty Messy Human started off one day as I was trying to come up with a name for the podcast for like 4 years. And it just came to me in a way that took the pressure off of everything having to be perfect. Because we do have to start messy. And I think I saw this quote on Instagram a long time ago that was something along the lines of start ugly, which to me was don't worry about starting perfect. It's going to be ugly. It's that beginner's mindset that you begin with that we're all going to have when we start these new projects. And so Pretty Messy Human allowed me to do that. It allowed me to be seen in the mess and embrace that mess. Because I feel like so many of us think, oh, if once I get to this one spot, once I start the podcast, once I get married, once I get pregnant, once I win the lottery, then I'm going to feel confident enough to do all of the things that I really want to do. And that's just not the case because anytime you do something, even if it's really good, you're still going to have this whole new plethora of challenge and mess that you have to figure out along with that. Like, for example, I just got married. It's the best thing ever. I love being married, but that comes with its own set of newness and unknown that you have to navigate. And so that's always going to be there. And that's why I really wanted Pretty Messy Human to represent a space for all of us to be there and figuring out and in the mess. Like no one gets to escape that. There's no finish line. Yet so many of us seem to be sprinting through our days to a finish line that doesn't exist. And then we just wear ourselves out when, let me tell you, the only finish line in life, and this is going to sound morbid, is death. So For this podcast, it's a little bit different than the one that I had many years ago because it's me riding solo. And that scares the shit out of me because I love to chit chat and collaborate with other people. And if I don't have something to say, guess what? My co-host does. But now it's just me, myself, and all of my crazy thoughts. And so we're going to do solo episodes just like this one, where I just want to catch you up on what's going on in life and just, have a little chit chat, have a little catch up. We're also going to have guests from all walks of life, from entrepreneurs to doctors to musicians to friends of mine to like literally anyone that I think has a really interesting story or has something that can either challenge us, change our perspective on something, give us value, or honestly just like bring more fun into life, because I feel like all of us need a little bit more fun in this world. There's so much chaos going on in the world that like, if we can realize, let's just bring a little bit more fun, have a laugh, have a chat, then like we can get through some of this shit together. So let's do a little life update, because I feel like I can't start a podcast just randomly. I feel like there's been so much that's been going on behind the scenes that you get a little bite-sized pieces of on social media, but you only get like 30 seconds of that. And if you say something spicy or something, the Instagram gods will strike you down. And if you know me, I don't really follow too many rules. We're going to get a little bit off the rails here. That's what it's about. So let's talk about the last 5 years. A lot of people, which I get, okay, everyone wants to know about my big breakup. I get it. And we are going to talk about that. But we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because your girl has moved on in so many ways that it almost kind of feels like I'm rehashing it. But that being said, I think it's really important to give a little bit of like my lesson and my side of the story to that, so you can understand where I'm at today and why I feel certain ways today, because it really did shape the woman that you see sitting here now. And this was about 5 or 6 years ago. It was like 30, I was 30 or 31 years old, and I had to totally reinvent my life. I had to learn how to be a woman. I had to learn how to be an adult. From the most basic of things. I didn't know even how to pay certain bills or, get your car registered. Like little things like that. I just didn't know how to do that because so much of that was taking care of it in my relationship that I was in for 8 years, which grateful for. That was really great. I'm not going to lie, but it did wake me up when I turned 31 years old and was like, oh, okay, now I have to like actually grow up. So I went through this huge breakup when I was about 31, and it happened really quickly. We were in this long-term 8-year, very public, open relationship for most of it that was tumultuous. It was toxic. It was all over the place. We had really, really good times. And it's one of those relationships where, you have really good times and then you have really bad times. It's like so extreme. And one thing I will tell y'all, I don't think that's healthy in relationships. Like, at least for me, I don't need the fireworks all of the time, the good, the bad, and the ugly fireworks. I want like a fireplace that just like is on and keeps me warm, and it's not going to blow up at any given moment. You know what I'm saying? So that relationship really did teach me a whole lot about myself. And we will talk more about the open relationship because I know so many people are curious about that type of relationship in general. And I get it because it's a topic that people either love or love to hate, or just like curious about it because it's different, And the reason I got in that relationship was because I didn't know that type of relationship I didn't know if I could do it or not. I just looked around and the divorce rate was so crazy, and it seemed like people kept doing shady things behind each other's backs, and people weren't being honest. And it was like the old ball and chain as the wife. And I didn't want that. I wanted like a cool, fun, deep, loving relationship. And if this was maybe a way to do that, then I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And so we gave it a try. All right. And You can look up podcast episodes on that. There's hours and hours of it out there. But really, I want to get to where we're at now. And we had this amazing relationship that was up and down and all around, taught me a lot moving on. But I went through that breakup, and it happened in a very soap opera type of fashion. He ended up getting engaged and married to a friend of ours in the group almost instantly, like a few weeks after he said that we were out of alignment for the 17th time. And I finally just didn't fight him when he said that. And it just became that point in my life that was, okay, you have to take responsibility for your life. And one thing I want to say about breakups, which I know for a fact, is that they absolutely can be the most transformational point in your life if you let it. It can absolutely feel like it's going to break you, and it can absolutely feel like it's going to rebuild you. But that rebuilding is where you can reinvent yourself. You can create a life that you've been probably dreaming of since you were a kid or since you were in that relationship. Because here's the thing, like where I'm sitting at right now, I wouldn't be a pregnant, married, happier than ever lady if I didn't go through that relationship. And I always knew that I would look back, even when I was in like the depths of the breakup, I always knew that I would look back and be grateful one day. I just didn't know when that day would come or what that would look like. And I just had to put in the work and the effort to make sure I got to that point. Because here's the thing, I'm not your girl that believes time heals all wounds. I don't. Okay. Yeah, it's going to help, but how you use that time is going to help you heal from that. And if you really put the effort in and realize, okay, I feel like shit right now. I feel like my life is crumbling. And you ask yourself, how can I use that pain to my advantage? How can I use this to help me further myself in my life? And for me, it was going to therapy. It was solo traveling. It was, all kinds of different like healing modalities, breath work. It was certain, diets and cleanses and just anything that I could do to really get to know myself better. I hired a business coach. Like there was so many different things that I wanted to know about myself and rebuild from myself from the rubble that I think all got me to this point today. And so if there's anything that I can say to anyone that's going through like the absolute shittiest part of a breakup is that if you go through that breakup and you really do say, you know what, I'm not feeling this pain just to feel this pain. I'm going to get something out of this and I'm going to come out better. It's going to change your life for the better. You're going to look back and be grateful for the shit you're going through now. So like I said, this was in my early 30s when you're supposed to be married with kids and have it all figured out with white picket fence, and your girl wasn't. I like flip-flopped because I was in that long-term relationship, 22 to 30, basically being married and as like a housewife and having that life. And then I turned 31 and all of a sudden I'm like, well, shoot, I better go do the things that I wish I would have done when I was in my 20s. So the one thing that I always wanted to do since I was a baby was sing. But very annoyingly, also happens to be still to this day my biggest fear. So you can imagine your biggest dream and your biggest fear is not really like a great combination there. So I had to do so much work trying to get over that fear. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not over it. I'm still terrified to sing. Terrified. Like I have so much anxiety leading up to singing. And then I have anxiety while I'm singing. And then I have even more anxiety. It's like Judgment Day when I get off stage. And I almost, depending on how I feel the performance went, I almost go into this like weird depressive state. It's like not fun for me. But I know that sounds sad. And it is a little bit, but at the same time, I've done so much that I thought I would never be able to do. Like 10-year-old Whitney would be stoked. She would not believe the things that I've been able to do because I was like, all right, this is the one thing that I've wanted to do and I'm going to try and just do it and try and see what happens and be okay being seen trying and knowing that it's not going to be perfect. And so I ended up moving to Nashville. My best friend moved here with me, which was so much fun, by the way. I don't care what decade of your life you're in. If you're single or, something happens, maybe move in with your best friend, because if you're 40, 50, 60, I don't care. It can be so much fun. You instantly have your favorite person around to watch all your favorite shows, to cook meals together, to go explore together. It's like, we don't have to do life alone. We're not even meant to do life alone, guys. Okay. Bring your community in with you. And just because people say that you shouldn't do that in whatever age you are, you're supposed to be living with a spouse, or you're too old to have a roommate, I don't actually believe that. So we moved here and we had the best time, and I hit the ground running. I was like, this is my moment. Okay. And I performed as many places as I possibly could. I went to so many songwriting rounds. I've written so many songs. At this point, I've released, I guess, like 9 or 10 songs, including a full EP. I have another song coming out very soon. And so I really gave my all to that dream. And it's still a part of me. It's still a dream of mine. But I'm going to be really honest, and not something that I've talked about publicly, is that it shifted for me. My priorities of who I am now shifted a little bit. Someone actually sent me a message on Instagram the other day that said, why did you give up your music career? And I said, oh, I didn't give up my music career. I actually have a song coming out in a couple weeks, but I have taken a step back because my priorities of what that dream looks like have shifted. And I'm okay with how it's shifted. There's a little bit of grief in that, because I think you plan for so much and you want something to be a certain way so deeply that you will do anything for it. And then life comes at you and you realize that maybe that dream isn't the same, and it's okay for your dreams to shift. You don't have to drive yourself into the ground for your entire life for one dream. You can have multiple dreams, and they can be happening simultaneously, and they can shift all at that same time. So my husband always says, at least in the music industry, you have to climb up through the butthole to make anything happen. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't want to climb up through the butthole. I am 36 years old. No buttholes are going to be climbed with me. Okay. I have other big dreams and goals, and they don't include big music buttholes. Okay. No, but in all seriousness, it really is your dreams can change, and you can still love something and allow for that thing to evolve and change. And so that's just the stage where I'm at now when it comes to music. And so stay tuned, because you guys really can see and listen to all of my music on Spotify and Apple and everywhere. And I still want you guys to go listen to it. It's still something that really means a lot to me, and we'll continue to release new music coming up. I'm just not going to kill myself to make that dream happen. So when I moved to Nashville, I thought I was coming here just to pursue music and just to really start a new life, which I definitely was, but I had no idea how much of a new life Nashville gave me. I ended up meeting my now husband, Ryan Meyer, at the pool one random day, and now we're pregnant. And it's just so crazy that, because you think you know how your life is going to go, but it honestly can change instantly. And so many of us are afraid of change, but it really can be for the better and exciting in that way. And so when I met Ryan, I wasn't really in a place to be in a relationship, and he wasn't really in a place to be in a relationship, but I knew, y'all. I knew instantly that this was something very significant. I knew that he was going to be my man. And I didn't believe that. I was not the person that thought, oh, when you know, you know. Well, I totally take all of that back. I will say it right now. You can go find clips of me saying that the one is total BS, and I take it all back. Okay. I can just eat my own words, because the one, I think, really does exist. And that might change depending on what season you are in your life, if you don't meet that person then. But I met my person at the very right time. And it wasn't like a love at first sight though. He scared the shit out of me. Okay. So I realized that being around this person who looked like he just didn't give a shit. He had platinum blonde hair. He's covered in tattoos. He's a drummer in a rock band. Like, that's your one. That's the one that's going to take care of your heart, honey. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Trouble written all over him. Sign me up. Turns out he's the most patient, thoughtful, sensitive man that I've ever, like cerebral man too, that I've ever come across. And when I got to know him in that way, I just was like very terrified of it because I felt like I was losing control. I really don't know if I ever have. I don't know if I've ever been 100% all in a relationship because of my fear and my insecurities. I really had to heal those things before I could go really deep in any relationship, particularly this relationship. So I put myself directly into therapy. I called my therapist up in 0.2 seconds of meeting Ryan and was like, girl, I got to come in. You got like 15 sessions for me. And I started just going to see her because I realized that if I didn't heal a lot of like the wounds that I was still carrying around with me for myself or for that relationship, or any relationship, then I'm never going to be able to be in any relationship. Yeah, it might make me better for this relationship that it seems really interesting to me now, but if that doesn't work out, therapy is still going to help me become a better person and know myself and find and be in love in the way that I really want to. And so that's what I did. Put myself into therapy. He was on tour a lot of the time. He plays for a band called Highly Suspect, and he showed up. He put in effort. By the way, for my guys out there, effort, okay, is going to get you a long way. What is that with people not putting in effort these days? Call them, set up a date. I mean, I can see my producer and everybody in the background like, yes, bitch, it's true. It's like, why? Where did the effort go? You're afraid of like looking like an idiot because you came off too strong or something like that. I mean, there's a line, but like just put in some damn effort. You're going to be ahead of like 80% of the people out there. Okay. And Ryan did that. He called me all the time from the road. He made it known that he wanted to talk to me, that he wanted to see me, that I could come out and see him on tour. Anytime he came home, it was like, I was his first call. Do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to do these things? And inviting me places, you know? And so it just made me feel like really safe in that relationship. And that's the other thing. The more that you can make your woman or your partner feel safe, the more you're actually going to have that deep love. You're actually going to know who that person is, because my favorite thing about feeling safe in a relationship is, one, you're not spinning out all the time, but two, you can be your most weird, crazy self ever. It's just so much fun. You bring so much fun into the relationship. Like, your relationship should expand your life, not make it smaller or quieter. It should bring in more love, more happiness, more joy. It should encourage you to try things that you've never tried before. And it should support you in your biggest dreams and your goals just because they love you. And that's what this relationship really did for me. I didn't think that existed, but it does. And if you're in a relationship to where you feel, man, I just feel like really small. Like, I feel like my world just keeps getting smaller and smaller. I would honestly take a hard look at why. And because there are people out there who will expand your world and who will make you believe and encourage you to try the things that you've always wanted to try. And when and if you fail, they're still going to love you and support you and encourage you at the end of the day. So Ryan and I got married. Oh my God, we only got married like 2 months ago. 2 months ago? That is crazy. Life really comes at you fast. I got pregnant like a week after that, okay? And I kind of feel like it was divine timing a little bit, because I don't know if it was just the universe was like, you're ready, or like my body was just like, okay, you're ready for this. And it happened that way, but I'm just going to go ahead with that. I think people ask a lot of the times, like, why get married? Because so many people already live together. They already act like they're married, so like, what does signing that paper and getting married actually do? And I think for me, it really relaxed me and calmed me and settled me into the relationship. You don't have to be thinking, oh, what if this doesn't work? And what if we don't plan the right wedding and maybe he'll propose? It's just like, no, we chose each other to do this life and we're committing to that. And it just relaxed all the other noise for me that, I mentioned a little bit earlier. It expanded my world, and it really did allow me to dream into who I want to be, person I want to be, and the partner that I want to be. I love being married. And I feel like marriage a little bit in today's world is getting a bad rep. Like, people are not getting married as often, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying everyone shouldn't get married, actually. But I'm just saying that for me, it's been a very positive experience. Yes, we've been married for 0.2 seconds. I get it. We're going to have challenges. We're going to have all kinds of stuff that comes up. But for me, I think it's just realizing that if you want to get married, you should just get married, because it's a beautiful thing. And people are going to tell you not to. They're going to tell you to do it. This is totally personal decision, up to you, but I am pro marriage. Okay. And if you would have asked me when I was like 19 in my 20s, I would have been like, no, I want to be independent. I want to be calling the shots, doing my own thing. And here I am, trad wife over here. I don't know what happened to me, y'all. Like I said, life really does come at you fast. But if you're afraid of a lot of life's messiness, like when it comes to relationships or chasing your dreams and goals, like, you're also going to miss out on the magic too, because you can't have the magic without the mess. And once you step into the mess, it's not always going to be messy. And just when you step into the magic, it's not always going to be magic. You have to have room for all of it. That's just what life is. And that's kind of why, to wrap this up, I wanted to start this show, to bring it all back to that point, is that we're all going through this crazy washing machine of life together. And I wanted a place to where I could talk about that. You guys could come and hear all about the ins and outs of it and not feel alone. Realize that, yes, we are all a little bit messy. So if this episode can do anything, I hope that it encourages you to just start whatever that thing is. Start ugly, start messy. Use this, me sitting right here in front of the mic. I'm sitting in self-doubt currently. I might seem like I am confident right now, but I'm telling you, I'm not. So I'm going to think about this when I get out of the room, and I'm going to analyze, and I'm going to break myself down about how I could have done better. But I want y'all to take permission to be like, okay, Whitney's sitting behind the mic and she's doing it and she's feeling all of these things. I can do that too. So just like I forced myself to come sit down here because I was tired of my own bullshit, you can do the same. And we have so many more episodes coming up. So thanks for the catch up. This has been really fun. And if you liked the episode, please go subscribe, comment, let your girl know, because like I said, I'm sitting in self-doubt. I need the compliments. I need the encouragement. You can check me out at Wit and Love on Instagram, all social media platforms. Can't wait to chat some more.